For a long time, David Stern oversaw the world of professional basketball with an iron fist. As commissioner of the NBA between 1984 and 2014, he steered the NBA through its most explosive period of growth and overseeing the creation of new franchises, the globalization of the sport, and an era of superstars that made the 90s the golden age of basketball.
Was in LA with the Showtime Lakers, Larry Bird in Boston, and that certainly ramped up their ability to do television deals, to make the NBA Finals an event. And I think what Stern did a really good job of was, getting that foothold in the States with Magic and Bird in the 80s, and then in 92 with the Dream Team, and with Michael Jordan at his height and Magic and Bird at the end, that Olympic team really started, to plant the seed globally for sort of the next chapter of the league and the growth of the game and popularity around the world, but also the development of star talent in all corners of the world. And those are certainly two of his great legacies.
But prior to his death at the age of 77, not everyone remembered Stern so fondly. Over the years, he managed to rub both fans and players the wrong way, and for good reason.
We've had to explain to our international audience that the boo is an American sign of respect.
I expect that David Stern's going to do something to Dennis Rodman as usual. Suspension, a fine, a heavy fine, but I don't give a damn. Me and David Stern's need to clear our differences. And like I said last night, let's get into a ring. He get naked, I get naked. Let's go ahead and get it on, brother.
Who would win? Who would win in that fight?
Well, as long as he don't bend over, he's all right.
And that was no accident, because during his heyday, he operated in a way that struck fear in any player or coach who tried to move against his wishes.
I mean, just recently, the Jazz and the Pacers, NBA had to fine him. And I think David Stern was loud and emotional, could be verbally abusive, and was threatening. And I've heard that from multiple sources. That's not my opinion. I've heard that from broadcast executives who were in the room with him. He was a daunting presence. Short guy, but a daunting presence, very loud, very emotional, and really had no problem getting on the phone with a GM and a coach and airing it out. Even a player, he didn't care.
So now it's time to take a closer look at that legacy. From the scandals that he buried, to the players he silenced, and the decisions that changed the NBA forever. It's your boy Luesta, and if you're enjoying La Hoopsta, don't forget to subscribe for more sports-related content. After working as the league's general counsel from 1978, Stern spent years quietly building his influence within the NBA, until he got a call to replace Larry O'Brien in 1984. Once in office, the things that would come to define his tenure were quickly established. For one thing, he ran a tight ship where bad behavior would not be tolerated.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that line stopped a whole bunch of fights. No facts. When David Stern put that, if anybody passed the line, hey, that's why you see them coaches over there now. Everybody, they make it fight, get the push, coaches be like this. Because, hey, that
how much is that fine?
No, it's a suspension. It's automatic. It's automatic. Game, right? That cost Phoenix the playoff series, go to the finals against San Antonio. That right there.
It was Amari, right?
Amari, like three people.
Because he was going to go help.
Just stepped over that motherfucker and look. Mind your business.
This prompted an era where someone like Rasheed Wallace, who Stern apparently had it out for, could get a technical foul purely for staring at the ref.
Rasheed Wallace has been tossed. Listen to Ron Garrettson. He'll explain the reason why.
Timeout LA. Whack! Get out!
But he didn't say nothing.
Get away from me, Steve. Get away from me, Steve. He didn't say a word. Technical foul, Wallace. He's gone. No, not right. I asked him 3 times to stop staring at me to try to intimidate me. I'm done. He's gone. I asked him. I told him. I have already told Mike twice before to have him stop staring to try to intimidate me. He did it again. He's gone.
Well, Doug, can you get tossed for looking at a guy funny?
Stern was nothing if not a man who put the league first, no matter who he had to butt heads with along the way. That ruthless prioritization of the NBA's image even extended to Jay-Z, who Stern personally called after the rapper's lyric about being too old for jerseys on the Black Album contributed to a notable drop in replica sales. and he did this in hopes to convince him to change his tune.
Because he says, yo, David Stern wants to meet me. True story. David Stern wants to meet me. We're like, for what? What the he want? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is how ignorant we are back then. When we did the Hard Knock Life tour, every jersey, throwback jersey from every city we was in, a throwback jersey of the NBA team. That's what he wore. You go look at the tape, that's what he wore. His next album was what? Grow Up. Put the button up. Be a grown man. The button up. No more throwbacks. Sales went down over 4,000%. David Stern is saying why. He has no clue why. Someone tells him it's Jay.
And even if he wasn't successful in that particular endeavor, it demonstrates the lengths that he was willing to go to in order to keep the wheels turning. As always, that kind of single-mindedness has its downsides. And across the decades, there have been many instances where it was believed by fans and critics that Stern would turn a blind eye to, or in some cases, even break the law in order to benefit the league. In truth, claims of corruption were actually never far away during his time in the hot seat, sparking persistent rumors and theories that are inescapable even after his passing. Due to his focus on cultivating stars, there has always been widespread belief that Stern bent the rules to protect the league's biggest asset, none more so than Michael Jordan. The contrast became clear when you look at how the NBA treated Wilt Chamberlain a generation earlier, because when Wilt was at his most dominant, the league actively changed the rules to limit him, like widening the lane from 12 to 16 feet in 1964 to push him further from the basket, or banning offensive goaltending to stop him swatting shots back in, outlawing inbounding over the backboard to cut off easy dunks, and even introducing a free throw rule specifically to stop him from dunking his own missed attempts. Jordan, on the other hand, played in an era where the rules and officiating actively favored perimeter scorers like him.
Well, the NBA sent us a rule today that says anytime we foul anybody deliberately too hard, we're going to get ejected from the game, so you're safe. Good. Rule today that says anytime we foul anybody deliberately too hard, we're going to get ejected from the game, so you're safe.
You can't get too close to Michael, it's a foul.
Low post against Morning. Good feed inside the track.
In my way of thinking, Michael, I'm talking to Michael and talking to myself at the same time, your game has been enhanced by things that they have done so the fan can see you do some of the brilliant things that you do.
They were cracking down on a spin move that they wanted the officials to call traveling. And Michael Jordan does the spin move, and I make the call. Phil Jackson comes flying off the bench. And I said, wait a second, Phil, you know as well as I do, that's the spin move that they're telling us to call. And he said, they may want that play called, but they certainly don't want it called on him. And he pointed at Jordan, who walked by and just stared at me.
Wilt himself said as much on numerous occasions, arguing that the game had been reshaped in a way that made Jordan's style far easier to execute than his own dominant inside game ever was.
And is that the 50 greatest thing when we joined in Cleveland? Wilt said this to Jordan. He said, the difference between me and you, he said, they had to change the rules for me so I couldn't dominate. And this is Wilt Chamberlain speaking. He said, they changed the rules for you, Jordan, so you can dominate.
But perhaps the incident that causes the most speculation was Michael Jordan's temporary retirement from the league. Although the Bulls icon maintained it was due to his desire to play baseball in honor of his late father, there was always an alternative view that he was secretly suspended over his gambling habits, and how they put him in the orbit of seedy figures like North Carolina money launderer Slim Bowler. When he discussed the issue with the press, David was always certain to tiptoe around it.
Serious concern for the NBA, the latest round of stories about his gambling.
Yes, I am.
How can it not be a serious concern if the most prominent figure in the league is involved persistently in high-stakes gambling?
Well, what's your debt structure, Bob? How much money do you owe?
It doesn't make any difference. I don't represent the NBA. I'm a reporter.
But I'm not about to... Well, no, you represent NBC, but I'm not about to go about and see how much our players owe. I don't think they should owe it to the wrong people. Yes, we're involved in a series of investigations on the subject.
Bob Green, a very respected reporter, wrote a book with Michael Jordan, quoted Michael as saying, that after the allegations arose concerning his gambling and checks were found in the hands of pretty clearly unsavory characters, Slim Buller and others, he was called into your office. Michael characterized the 2.5-hour meeting as being about a half-hour worth of substance and the rest just for show, so it could look like the NBA was being tough on him, and he assured the league that there were no other checks out there, nothing else bouncing around. That turns out perhaps not to be true now.
He assured the league that he understood the gravity of the quality of his associations.
As for MJ, his words strongly implied that David struck a deal with him.
And push myself to play for a certain focus. 5 years down the line, if that urge comes back, if the Bulls have me, if David Stern lets me back in the league, I may come back. But, that's an option that I would never close on. I like to have that option. And, that's something that I'm willing to deal with and take the chances with.
And Michael Jordan is completed his final news conference.
My special contribution was the tone. You never saw anything like it, and you won't ever see anything maybe not like it again.
Still, these claims have always been denied by both Jordan and Stern himself, including in the famed Netflix series The Last Dance. I didn't retire because the league kicked me out or they suspended me for a year and a half. That is not true. There's no truth to that, Jordan said. I needed a break. My father just passed and I retired. And I retired with the notion that I wasn't going to come back. Meanwhile, Stern said that the urban legend that I sent MJ away because he was gambling, ridiculous. No basis, in fact. However, this was far from the only gambling scandal he had to navigate during his time at the top. In 2007, an FBI investigation went public which revealed that Tim Donaghy used his insider knowledge to bet on NBA games and even conspired to fix games. In the aftermath of being sentenced to 15 months in prison, Donaghy has maintained that Stern stopped the spread of reputational damage to make him look like one bad apple rather than part of a larger systematic issue.
David Stern was able to basically put a lid on it and paint me as one bad apple, the only guy involved, and nobody else did anything but me. And, we were going to move on from it. The FBI said that there was 6 or 7 other people that they wanted to indict, and this got shut down from the highest level. And then I find out, after I go to jail that, a guy by the name of Greg Andres, who was the head of the Eastern District of New York, took a job at a law firm and all of a sudden got all the outside legal counsel work for the NBA. So, it was a situation where David Stern really ran that whole investigation, and it got shut down by the, highest level people in regard to other people being involved.
Over the years, fans have suggested that David Stern and the league's officials conspired to determine the NBA Finals, including the infamous 2002 series between the Kings and the Lakers. After a series of tight games, it was alleged that in Game 6, the Lakers got a majorly friendly whistle.
Bobby Jackson plagued by an ankle problem for several games and a foul, an offensive foul. We're going to take it back to Sacramento for Game 7. Weber called for the offensive foul. Is a terrible call. Look at his feet. His feet are outside of Robert Horry's.
Then, as the crucial game went on, it just kept getting more ridiculous.
Thought he was fouled. And now Bob Delaney with the whistle and the foul. Rick Adelman is beyond belief. But right now, here's Bryant putting the ball on Chrisley, rejected and fouled. Weber has a great block on this ball. I'm not sure where any foul is other than Kobe jumping into.
This eventually resulted in Mike Bibby getting absolutely wiped out by Kobe, only for it to be waved off.
He's in front of him, and he's going to come. Oh, an elbow. Yes, an elbow right in the job.
The end result was a Lakers win to even things up, only for LA to go on and win the entire thing. And in the aftermath, it was viewed by the sports insiders as a totally blatant fix.
It was unbelievable. It was the worst officiated game in my sports writing career.
We both covered that infamous Game 6 Sacramento-LA in 2002.
I believed that night when I covered that game here in Los Angeles that it was an abomination, that it was an embarrassment to the league, that it was the worst officiated contest in professional basketball I'd ever seen, and I wrote that in the Washington Post.
Tonight, a former NBA referee says the playoff series between the Kings and Lakers in 2002 was fixed.
And all of us thought that there was just something drastically wrong because the Los Angeles Lakers had 27 free throws in the fourth quarter.
Memory serves me is the no calls that they were committing on Bibby.
Years on, even players such as Kobe inferred that there was something untoward.
2002 Western Conference Finals, was it rigged?
Well, what's the official's name?
Tim Donaghy.
Well, he definitely had money on it.
Yep.
So that's a fact.
Yes, yes.
So from that standpoint, yes.
Yes.
But from the Kings missing 20-something free throws in Game 7.
Good point. Good point.
Unless
People
you go and
forget
check
that.
their bank accounts, I don't know what else to tell you.
Meanwhile, Mike Bibby claimed that he knew what was coming after being warned by a veteran.
Chucky Brown tells me, like, hey, Mike, if the NBA wants a team to win a game, they're going to bring in a specific crew. I was like, Chucky, get that. There's like, Chucky, ain't nothing they can do to stop this. Like, there's nothing they can do to stop it. Like, no matter, they can do whatever they want, nothing to stop it. He's like, watch. I said, ain't no way. So we get to the game the next day, he shows me the paper. You know, you get the notes at the beginning of the game. He's like, Mike. I said, damn.
Did Chucky say those names before y'all saw the names?
He said one specific name. I'm not going to say his name on here.
And sure enough, he remembered seeing it slip away before his eyes.
Start of the fourth quarter. I forget how much we're up by. I think we're up a good amount to start the fourth. I do a brush screen off Scott Pollard for Scott Pollard to go set a away screen somewhere else. And it's a brush screen. So he kind of just, boom, and it was going to the next. Moving screen. Start the fourth quarter. So I'm like, oh, shit. And it just went.
Considering how big of a deal this was, the situation led to an independent investigation where those in charge declared that it had been poorly officiated, although they claimed that those calls didn't favor any one team. But Tim Donaghy disagreed, and as part of his cooperation with the authorities, a letter submitted to his attorney alleged that the game's outcome was purposefully skewed. Referees A, F, and G were officiating a playoff series between teams 5 and 6 in May of 2002. It was the 6th game of a 7-game series, and a Team 5 victory that night would have ended the series. However, Tim learned from referee A that referees A and F wanted to extend the series to 7 games. He knew these specific referees as quote-unquote company men, always acting in the interest of the NBA. And that night, it was in the NBA's interest to add another game to the series. Referees A and F heavily favored Team 6. Personal fouls, resulting in obviously injured players, were ignored even when they occurred in full view of the referees. Conversely, the referees called made-up fouls on Team 5 in order to give additional free throw opportunities for Team 6. The referees' favoring of Team 6 led to the team's victory that night, and Team 6 came back from behind to win that series. Intent on protecting his league at all costs, Stern of course decided to discredit it all as the actions of a desperate man. My reaction to Donaghy's lawyer are that clearly as the date of sentencing gets closer and the things that he's thrown against the wall haven't stuck, he's rehashing a variety of things that have been given to the US attorney and the FBI fully investigated and are baseless. We have been asked to cooperate for the last year by providing people and answering questions, and we've done that. And our understanding is that the investigation is just about wrapped up, waiting for the sentencing of Mr. Donaghy. And as he continues desperately to somehow get out of the fact that he is subject to a longer sentence possibly than his co-conspirators, there are this continuing flow of allegations from, don't forget, an admitted felon, so they're baseless. If this was a one-time thing, then perhaps it'd be no big deal, but that certainly was not how it played out. When discussing corruption in the sport, Dominic Wilkins revealed that he believes Stern played an intimate role in the outcomes of games.
Last game of the season, I remember Sterling actually our coach came along and he said, you guys don't be upset, but I've been told to take y'all out after the first 5 minutes of the game because Sterling wanted to see David Robinson keep the scoring title in the West because he didn't want Shaquille O'Neal to get the scoring title in the East.
I remember when he hit 60 or something like that.
70.
70.
He had 70. He had 43
Timeout. So
and
the
a half.
game was fixed. He told y'all that y'all not going to play because he want them
Took us out. And if you go back and watch that game, we didn't play after that.
I remember Dave Robinson
And I
hitting
remember
70,
walking off the bench
but I don't know
toward the end of the game, and I'm out. They can't offer me enough. I'm done.
You are done.
Elsewhere, Rasheed Wallace echoed the idea that it could be done when it benefited Stern's objectives, suggesting that the 2007 finals were orchestrated from the top of the sport.
First of all, he was already pissed because we beat Team Hoff. He was promoting that team like crazy. When we defied that, heated. Came back that next year. Here we are in the championship again. Now we playing San Antonio. For our series and our series only, he started calling San Antonio his team of United Nations.
The San Antonio Spurs, a most international of teams.
Game 7 in San Antonio, we sitting in the locker room. Sitting there, we watching the pregame interview with David Stern. That's all he kept saying. So me and D. Ham looked at each other like, oh shit, the fix is in now.
Over the years, Stern continued to face allegations of impropriety, and whenever it came up, he remained fearless amid claims of misconduct.
At the end of the interview, I asked him, I said, you know, Commissioner Stern,
Fans are very upset about the officiating in this series. They feel like the team, the more veteran team, is getting the benefit of the calls. I know we've had these controversies, obviously, and this is coming off of the Sacramento thing, right? So I mentioned that, and he looks at me, he just kind of looks me up and down, and he says, you know, George, what you're saying would be illegal in 50 states. Further, I say, if not. And then I just kind of like kept going back at him because I didn't know any better at 20-something years old a little bit. But, you know, I eased off the gas a little bit, and we just kind of had a discussion about it. He elaborated some about the officiating and, you know, who these guys are and what they're, you know, what they go through and the rigorous testing that the league does for them on a game-to-game basis, et cetera, et cetera. And then we're done. I wrap up the segment. He taps me on the shoulder and goes, good job, George. Like a little kid, you know, like just almost like he should have just tapped me on the head, to be honest with you, when he walked away.
Throughout his lengthy career, Stern was regularly embroiled in controversy, and oddly, all this was contrasted by Stern always trying to retain a certain reputation and the level of respectability in the game. When it came to policing the NBA, it's fair to say that Stern didn't mess around and would throw his weight around to ensure he got his way. In one interview, Brendan Hayward recalled a story where he wouldn't tolerate a Kaepernick-style situation regarding the national anthem. Before we get into that clip, let me tell y'all about today's sponsor, Arena Club. Now, if you don't know what Arena Club is, it's basically a platform where you can open digital trading card packs, but you're actually getting these real graded cards, like actual slabs that you can keep, sell, or even get shipped to you. So when you open the site, you'll be introduced to all these slab packs, and there's a huge variety to choose from. Baseball, Pokemon, basketball, it's up to you. Alright, so I wanted to check out the Ruby basketball pack. I was hovering over it and all the cards looks pretty cool. So I clicked it, hit buy now, and as you can see, it will take you to this screen right here where if you add my special code LaHoopsta, you can get 20% off your first order, which in this case led to a $50 discount. Now, I already went ahead and copped it, so all I gotta do is put open slab pack and let's see what's inside. Okay, nice little animation going on. This is pretty intense. So I got a Kobe Bryant card. That's hella dope. This is super cool. You can spin it around and you can check it all out for yourself, see what it's about. This one's called a 2005 Topps Chrome. Looks pretty dope. So what's cool about these cards is they're actually real graded cards, so you can sell it, keep it, or have it shipped to you instantly. So if you want to try it out yourself, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card by going to arenaclub.com/LaHoopsta and using code LaHoopsta. That's arenaclub.com/LaHoopsta, code LaHoopsta for 20% off your first purchase. But now let's get back into the video.
We had a player that wasn't standing for the national anthem. He's not sitting down, he's just running to the locker room. And the media gets hold of it and they call up Ernie Grunfeld and they say, hey man, we're gonna run this story that for the last 5 to 10 games, we've been seeing this guy going to back during the national anthem. Ernie calls the player and says, hey man, you know, X, Y, and Z. The player says, nah, I'm standing on business. I'm going to the back because it's in my contract right to do so. Y'all can't do nothing to it. David Stern gets wind of it. He calls said player and says, hey man, the next game, I need you out there for the national anthem. The guy gives him the same speech that he gave Ernie Grunfeld. He said, I'm not going to go out there because in my contract, it doesn't say that I have to stand for the national anthem. David Stern said, you are right. It does not say that in your contract, but I can guarantee you this. If you don't stand for that national anthem, you won't play for not another team in the NBA after this. That boy was out there like the last Boy Scout with his hand over his heart the next game.
No matter what, David wanted the sport to look professional, right down to how the players dressed and spoke to the media. Back in the 90s, he had his concerns about how the players showed up to the arena, and this led to friction with none other than Dennis Rodman.
David Stern said, Dennis, you know what? You get one more tattoo, we're gonna kick you out the league. That's a true story. Really? One more tattoo, one more piercing, we'll kick you out the league. I said, wow, okay, great. I just kept doing it.
But when this really became a problem was in the mid-2000s. It manifested as major issues with Allen Iverson, as after he started rocking looks closer to rappers than the conventional professional athlete, Stern sought to institute a dress code.
It's official. The NBA has a dress code policy beginning this season. Players must dress in business casual attire during any team or league business, so expect to see sport jackets and slacks rather than throwback jerseys and t-shirts.
They're still trying to get away from the image that was created by the Ron Artest-Ben Wallace fight, that this is a league of thugs. They don't want their players looking like rappers. They want them looking like the people that are buying tickets. That's what's behind this. That's why they're implementing it.
It's about young people with plenty of money, and now what they want to do is turn their back. The NBA wants to turn its back on the culture it embraced, bang, and get rid of it.
Why? Dollars.
I'm the CEO of a business that generates $3 billion in revenue, and we're doing here what our teams want us to do, what our coaches, by and large, have urged us to do. And we're up for it.
Due to how it limited them, many players felt like it was an overstretch from the organization, and particularly the commissioner.
Has the league gone too far with this? A little bit.
I am the kind of person that buy a lot of jewelry and diamonds. I'm not buying it to look at myself in the mirror at home, you know what I mean? I'm buying it to wear it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't tell me how to spend my money, you know what I mean? I don't think that's right.
This wasn't just a dress code that they had to vaguely adhere to, and the enforcement of it actually cost the players a lot of cash and a new wardrobe.
What year was the dress code? Stern implemented that whole dress code joint, so man, that forced everybody to spend about a good $20,000 on suits at least. And
I wanted to come in that just bareback. You know, I'm
ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm trained to go. So just throw that up.
I don't even want that many suits.
Right.
Give me like 3 or 4 suits, you know what I'm saying? Give me a good tuxedo, give me a good funeral suit, and give me a good, linen suit for, when you out with your lady. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need all them goddamn suits.
Yeah, I don't need like 5,000 suits. I ain't Pat Riley out this piece.
Right.
In addition to the dress code, Stern also tried to prevent other forms of expression, including Allen Iverson's unreleased Gangsta rap album. And while he fought him on it at the time, AI later suggested that when it came to the album, Stern was right to put his foot down.
Hey, yo, no, listen. When I did that bullshit ass rap album, I was doing that because Ra wanted me to do it. I ain't never, man, I'm so embarrassed when I hear that shit now, but we don't spend no time on that. But the most embarrassing shit was when I did the album, I had to come here to meet with him.
David Stern.
Yes. First thing he started talking shit to me about, because I had a Cleveland Indians jersey. I remember when we was wearing the jerseys and shit back then. I had the Indians hat on. He's like, why you got on Major League Baseball stuff? You're in the NBA. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, out of nowhere, he pulled out a piece of paper. Sitting there, I'm looking like, yo, what is he doing? Bro, the man started reading the lyrics. Man, I wanted to crawl up under the table. I was so embarrassed, man. I mean, the curse words, everything.
I was at the studio sessions, man.
Yo, that shit was so embarrassing. Yeah.
In keeping his commitment to the NBA above board, there were even some players such as Carmelo Anthony who have speculated that Stern actually worked with law enforcement to keep tabs on the players in the league.
Anyway, long story short, David Stern suspended me out of everybody 15 games. Everybody else got like 6 games, 7 games, shit like that. And I go speak to him like, why you do me like that?
What did he tell you?
Man, your rap sheet.
A rap sheet? Man.
Look.
NBA rap sheet.
Mm-hmm. NBA shit. You want to be in the streets or you want to be in the NBA?
Mm-hmm. This what he told you?
This what in his office. You want to be in the streets or you want to be in the NBA? You with a corporation now.
You doing stop snitching.
You gonna leave that alone. I know who you with. I know where you live at. I know where they live at. I know when you close your eyes. I know when you wake up.
Damn.
So I'm like, and I know what they doing. He's telling me I know what they doing. Mm-hmm. Either tell them to stop or you got to cut them off. And I'm like, damn.
According to Carmelo, Stern had intel that he could only really gain through liaising with the cops. However, this doesn't stop the routine claims that he'd committed felonies when it came to the NBA draft. From 1985 onwards, there have been claims that Stern had conspired to rig the lottery in favor of the New York Knicks. This led to the 1985 frozen envelope theory, which alleges that the NBA rigged the lottery so that the Knicks could draft Patrick Ewing. According to those behind this concept, he selected an envelope with a folded corner, enabling the Knicks to draft Patrick Ewing first.
That is Jack Joyce. He's the head of security for the NBA, spinning the drum. About 6 turns, I think.
Everybody knows who our number 1 pick is going to be, and we're very delighted.
I think you knew too. Show what you got in your hand. He has number 33 all printed up here already. Patrick, there's confidence for you. So you will make a call to you.
Oh yeah, I'd like to speak to him, and it takes a little suspense out of who we're going to select, but
you can buy that, okay?
Since then, speculation has persisted right to this day, with even Patrick himself not exactly shooting it down in flames. It might have been fixed, but I don't care. I ended up going where I was supposed to go. Once again, this wasn't an isolated incident during his time in charge. Among the other players who've suggested that there was some trickery with the draft includes some of those who benefited, including LeBron James himself.
You know, during the lottery drop, Cleveland got the #1 pick. I just don't think that was. What a coincidence! Don't you just keep LeBron home? You know what? Patrick Ewing to the Knicks. You know, Derrick Rose to the Bulls. Like, I understand the assignment.
Meanwhile, Shaq's encounter with Stern before he signed with the Orlando Magic suggested that things were predetermined long before anyone else knew.
I don't know if you heard this story, but in 1992, I think the draft was in June or something, I meet Mr. Stern in March, and he says to me, "Hey, know who you are. Can't wait for you to come to the NBA." Then he pulls me to his side. "You want to play where it's cold or where it's hot?" He asked me that. Yeah, he did. He asked me that, and I was like, "Hot." And he smiled and I smiled, and then a couple of days later they had the draft thing and, you know, the top 3 things, and then Minnesota was number 3. I was like, and then Charlotte was number 2, and then Orlando, Florida was number 1. I was like, I didn't think anything about it, but, you know, you hear a lot of these conspiracy theories, and, you know, there's a lot of situations that could make these things sound good and sound true. Like, okay, Dallas gets rid of one of the best players, but we're getting a new one. Ding, 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 ding. So I don't want to use the word conspiracy theory.
If it could be proven that Stern had actually tampered with the draft, then he could have been in a whole lot of legal trouble. But he fended off all the aspersions during his lifetime to the point where there were times where he moved like a cool-headed malice of a mob boss. One major example came in 2012. A team that the league was literally part owners of received the #1 pick. The odds of this happening aroused suspicion and led Jim Rome to try and confront Stern about the theory that there were some secretive moves being made. But rather than accept it, Stern clapped back at him in the most extreme way.
You know, New Orleans won the draft lottery, which of course produced the usual round of speculation that maybe the lottery was fixed. I know that you appreciate a good conspiracy theory as much as the next guy. Was the fix in for the lottery?
You know, I have 2 answers for that. I'll give you the easy one. No, and a statement. Shame on you for asking.
You know, I understand why you would say that to me, and I wanted to preface it by saying it respectfully. I think it's my job to ask because I think people wonder.
No, it's ridiculous, but that's okay.
I know that you think it's ridiculous, but I don't think the question is ridiculous because I know people think that. I'm not saying that I do, but I think it's my job to ask you that.
Have you stopped beating your wife yet?
Yeah, I don't know if that's fair.
Why is that?
Because I think that and I know you read your emails, and I'm sure you follow things virally and on Twitter. People really do think it, whether it's fair or not.
Well, they think it because people.
You don't think the question's fair to ask if your fans think it?
Silly questions. I expect it to be.
According to him, buying the Hornets on behalf of the NBA was a move that Stern made to prevent relocation. But this situation with the draft pick wasn't the only one that caused eyebrows to raise about whether this was a major conflict of interest. Among the biggest and most regularly referenced controversies in Stern's entire career was the vetoing of the 2011 Chris Paul trade. This was supposed to be a 3-way move that would see CP3 head to the Lakers, Lamar Odom take his spot in New Orleans, and Pau Gasol make his way to the Houston Rockets. Even though it made sense for all concerned, Stern evidently disagreed and killed the deal.
The league says no deal, and this thing appears to have caused quite a rift here now between large and small market teams. Do you have a problem with the league vetoing this trade, Stephen A.?
Well, I don't like it. I mean, clearly it's a situation where you're looking at the league and it appears to be a conflict of interest. On one hand, you're the commissioner, you answer to the owners, and clearly with the small market owners breathing down your back that they don't want a repeat of LeBron James and Chris Bosh going to Miami and Chris Paul and ultimately Dwight Howard manipulating their ways to L.A. So, you understand it from that perspective.
Consequently, Chris was made to play out the season at New Orleans, a team literally owned by the league and had been bought for a little more than $300 million just 6 months prior. After being robbed of the opportunity to build a super team, Kobe begrudgingly accepted what went down.
Kobe, is this trade thing fair to people involved? The whole renege trade thing, is that fair to the players here? Is it fair to you guys?
Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast. Right? That's just the business that we're in. Owners can make trades, and in this situation, the commissioner has the right to avoid the trade. So for the players involved, it's always tough to hear your name mentioned in trade rumors or trade discussions. At the end of the day, we just gotta
just gotta do your job. You can only control so much.
Yet, once again, this was grounds for conspiracy theories, as fans believed that it was to prevent Kobe from surpassing Mike, and these rumors didn't subside when Stern effectively dodged the inquiry when pressed about it even months down the line.
Over on the right, Chris.
Hi, David. Chris Sheridan from SheridanHoops.com. It's been 2 months now since you vetoed the Chris Paul to the Lakers trade, and it's given you 2 months of the benefit of hindsight and 2 months to look at the impact that it's had on several teams, Clippers, Lakers, but especially the Hornets. And given the benefit of that hindsight, was that veto, since you had never done one before, was it the right thing to do, and why?
You've been around too long to phrase the question that way.
I
didn't veto anything. Acting on behalf of the owners, as the owners' rep, New Orleans decided not to make the trade.
Well, whose decision was it to stop the trade?
No, not to stop. No, not to stop. There's no superstar that gets traded in this league unless the owner says go ahead with it. And in the case of New Orleans, the representative of the owner said that's not a trade we're going to make.
He did this to stop Kobe from getting 6 rings. David Stern, I didn't veto the trade. The representative for the team did, which is me. What the fuck? I wasn't speeding, officer. I was just going fast as shit. Years down the line, this topic still sparks a lot of mixed emotions in both of those who were involved and the fans who were on the outside looking in. And after years of keeping relatively silent on the matter, Chris Paul has been open about why it went down and essentially suggested that it would never happen under modern guidelines.
They said be ready to play the whole year back here, and then it was quiet. It was quiet. League said no. What happened was a few of the owners for other teams, they said we just came out of the lockout, right? We just did a new CBA, and they said it was all about competitive balance. So they said if I would have went to the Lakers, it wasn't going to be the competitive balance. Now look at the league.
It's fair to say that Chris makes a good point, as since he stepped down in 2014, the NBA has changed a lot. At its core, there's a vast difference in marginal styles from the commissioner that oversees the sport. In the view of someone like Scottie Pippen, this has its positives and negatives.
What is the different style of David Stern running the NBA versus an Adam Silver?
I felt like David Stern era, he ran the game. I think Adam Silver's era, he's more or less allowing the players to have some input in terms of how the rules of the game are changing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it looks like it's pretty bad right now.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
But I think from a standpoint of players being healthy, those are some precautionary measures that they've taken in the game where players don't like to play back-to-back.
On the flip side, the same fans who despised Stern at the time now feel that he was key to the sport flourishing as it did. I don't know how Adam Silver keeps his job as NBA commissioner. Adam Silver is a great negotiator. He swindled the networks out of billions for the substandard NBA product. But in every other aspect, Adam Silver has been a monumental failure. David Stern handed him a thriving league. And within 10 to 12 years, Adam Silver has completely ruined it. And despite being mentored by Stern, Colin Cowherd simply doesn't believe that Adam Silver had the killer instinct of his predecessor.
Adam Silver took over a very successful rich league, but Adam Silver is not the yell, scream into a phone guy. David Stern did not care about what you thought of him, and frankly, he didn't care about the feelings. The players are paid to play. Adam Silver was quoted 2 years ago saying, quote, "My players are truly unhappy." Okay, so I think the one criticism of Adam Silver that is fair, because I think he got them a lot of money. They're on multiple networks. I like the NBA Cup early. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but I like the swing, and there's a lot of things he's done well. He likes, I don't necessarily love it, he likes the parity. Everybody can win. David Stern was much more comfortable with 3 or 4 teams separating. He was much more comfortable. Adam Silver isn't officially related to players, but there's that stepdad that you'd either never want to disappoint or never want to piss off. And that was David Stern. Like, you knew if you just didn't play because you weren't in the mood, David Stern would call you directly and be abusive.
The end result of all the issues and incidents in his career is that it left David Stern with a complicated legacy. While some of his actions came under scrutiny, there's no denying that he did big things, and while he was often painted as a tyrant who only cares about cash, he proved he could be on the side of players. Just ask Magic Johnson, with the Lakers legend claiming that Stern was vital in helping him battle the stigma that came with his HIV diagnosis.
I always say this, I think the most underrated moment of Commissioner David Stern's career was this moment, Pablo, because the minute he learned of this diagnosis, he did what David Stern always did. He learned more about it than anybody else. And when Irvin called him and said, what if I play in the All-Star game? Stern immediately says yes, because he's done his homework. He understands that all these ways that people think HIV can be transmitted are not really true. It's not sweat to sweat. It's an infinitesimal chance of that happening. And so he's going to make sure this occurs. Now, immediately, NBA owners are saying, we're not signing off on this. We're not putting our star players out there at risk. We're not doing it. And Stern said to them privately, this was all privately, listen, I'm just going to tell you, you better be ready for a discrimination suit, because I'm going to encourage them to file a discrimination suit if you say no to this. And so be ready for that. Are you ready for HIV mandatory testing in the NBA? Are you convinced that Earvin Magic Johnson is the only person that's HIV positive in the NBA? And David Stern says, because I'm not.
Although it really depends on your view as to whether it was a good thing, he's also widely credited as being the architect of the WNBA.
So 1997, I was a 39-year-old rookie. Let me back you up, okay? I am 24, 25 years old. It had to be around 84, 85. I get a phone call from David Stern. He says, Nancy, I would like for you to come to New York and I'd like to meet with you. And I was like, why does he want to meet with me? I go to the NBA headquarters. David closes the door. I said, why'd you close the door? He goes, because if they hear what I'm going to talk about, they'll fire me. I sat down with him for 2 hours and he goes, Nancy, before I'm done being the commissioner of the NBA, there's going to be a W. And I went, what? He goes, there will be a WNBA. And I said, when?
You said this is in 84, 85?
84.
Damn.
This is how much this guy believed in women or the business of women in sports. And he says, my only worry is that you won't be around to play in it.
Because of this, there was no surprise that there was an outpouring of love and legends of the sport and current players upon his death in 2020.
What was my reaction? Obviously it's bittersweet. The bitter part of it is we lost a great visionary. I think him and Dr. James Naismith was two of the most important people for the game of basketball. Obviously, Dr. Naismith, because he created the game, and then David, his vision to make this game global. I don't know how many people believed in that with him or thought it was something that couldn't be done, but he made this game global, where this game is watched over 200 countries, 200 countries, 250 countries over the world.
Above all else, Stern deeply cared about the continued prosperity of the NBA, or at least what he believed to be his perfect version of it. In that line of work, there's really no way to be universally loved. After all, squashing dreams and dashing hopes for the good of the league's integrity is basically part of the job. Whatever you think of him, there's one thing that's very clear. Everybody in the NBA respected David Stern, even if they didn't necessarily like him. Whether or not you can say that about the man that followed in his footsteps is a topic for another video entirely. But let us know what you think. Is David Stern a hero or a villain that the NBA was better off without? Sound off in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.